Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to some more Fan Fridays, and let's see what Toby is going to bring us today. There's a Klefki and all kinds of fun stuff, a Garchomp, Tapu Fini, who knows what is going to happen. A Klefki Nile Ego lead. That's either going to be like insanely supportive for doubles, or maybe Nile Ego has a good amount of damage, maybe Klefki sets up. You just really never know what's going to happen in some of these submissions. Arcanine and Mimikyu will be on the field for the opponent, and that's going to be just intimidate, and then I guess some kind of mild support for the Mimikyu to set up, and then go for the damage. Who knows what's going to happen, guys? So this is going to be Klefki leading off with the Thunder Wave, going to get some free status down onto the Mimikyu, and that is going to slow down the crazy stuff it might be up to, and Mimikyu is going to turn around a Shadow Claw onto the Nile Ego. That is going to be a critical hit for some big damage, but Sandstorm, Nile Ego, that's new. Okie dokie. Then we're going to see the Heat Wave come out onto Klefki. Klefki going down to a Heat Wave from the Arcanine. It's actually a little surprising. Sometimes you see a bit more bulkiness even on that split damage from Heat Wave. So this Arcanine is coming up big on the damage. Mimikyu takes a little bit from the Sandstorm as well. And now Garchomp is in. Is this some kind of like complex Sandvale Garchomp setup? It could happen. So Arcanine is going to be switched out. Kartana is going to come in as the response. And that is going to be Nile Ego with a Sludge Wave. So Garchomp's going to avoid it, I guess, just because it's... Oh, hey, yeah, we just confirmed the Sandvale. I was like, oh yeah, Garchomp avoiding things. That's not common. But at least it's going to break the disguise. And I guess Garchomp tanks it up well anyways. And it looks like we do have the OG Sand Garchomp. Isn't that fun? So Mimikyu is going to be paralyzed, and Sandstorm's just going to kind of do small amounts of damage. Kartana's immune, so really not much else matters. And Kartana's going to come in with the Smart Strike and take down the Nile Ego. Is Garchomp going to feel confident and convert the damage, or does it need more evasion? As Kartana goes for a +1 in the attack, and Garchomp feeling it on that double team, even though we know there's a Smart Strike on the Kartana. Mimikyu gets full paralysis though, so not able to do too much, and we'll take a little bit more damage from the Sandstorm. Paralysis is helping, so Tapu Fini is in. Tapu Fini is not in the best matchup against the Kartana. So is Garchomp just going to get like that lucky? Kartana is going to throw down the Smart Strike onto Garchomp, and Garchomp at the +1 will be able to survive, and then Flamethrowers back into the Kartana, and that'll be enough to take Kartana out completely. So no Focus Sash, and Tapu Fini has the Muddy Water, so planning on hitting both opponents just in case it was sashed, and the Mimikyu takes some damage, not enough to go down, and Shadow Claw onto Tapu Fini. That's kind of it. So this is probably also tanky Garchomp. Like, is it max hit points, max attack, and then just going for evasion or something? Because it tanked up the +1 Smart Strike pretty well, as the opponent shows a Garchomp of their own. But I'm guessing that had to have been like Smooth Rock setup for the Nile Ego. And it's an Attract Oh my goodness, we have some true Garchomp love on the field. I don't think I've seen this happen before. So it's the evasion Feminism Garchomp. Let's see the magic happen. Okay, so Garchomp going to gain hit points off, and whenever you see Fini, you got to think that Heal Pulse support's going to come in. And then the Garchomp, the other one was male. That's all it takes. Male versus female. Mimikyu can't get the Attract onto it, but the Garchomp's just not going to do anything to this other Garchomp. Like, he is too much in love, and there's too much evasion going on. So using Sandvale to set up an insane amount of evasion, Tapu Fini feeling safe, gets big damage from the Moonblast, and then heals up Shellbell. Shellbell Fini actually sounds really good. And I don't know why more people aren't running it, because it doesn't have a strong amount of sustain for itself, but if it does connect with the Muddy Water, that's getting healing from two different sources, and Moonblast can be pretty big stab. So that works pretty well. It's a little better than Leftovers if you're staying on the offensive. So that's going to be Flamethrower onto the Mimikyu. And Mimikyu barely survives, but has a Lychee Berry for the attack, and Tapu Fini doesn't care, so Muddy Water going to clean out the Mimikyu and get damage onto Garchomp. Garchomp will survive, but it will lose accuracy, which makes its life just a bit harder. So we have Attract, Flamethrower, Double Team, and I guess not using Earthquake to try to keep Tapu Fini safe. Well, then maybe it isn't Adamant. I don't know what this Garchomp is running. Like, that's a crazy Garchomp set. But if you're just trying to make the opponent have an impossible time hitting you, seems like that's going to succeed. Arcanine's Intimidate going to be pretty frustrating overall. And Flamethrower works against Kartana, so what else do you need? Garchomp will attract. Man, this Garchomp's just going all into those opponents. So then we're going to see Muddy Water. Muddy Water, that's just free damage on to Arcanine. So Garchomp goes down, Arcanine takes a hit, and then we're going to see what the Garchomp goes for, and will it be the Earthquake to finish off? Shell Bell healing up a little bit as well. Arcanine is in love, doesn't get a chance to use the attack, Sandstorm subsides, and yeah, just some pretty crazy stuff overall. And the opponent forfeits. Alright, so we don't even get to see like the big dunk in the end. Either way, like I said, interesting setup. I was wondering like if the Nihilego and Klefki were going to be major support players, and it seems like it. Like was that enough turn for the Smooth Rock, and then I guess Klefki, it wants to get Thunder Wave, and then maybe Light Screen Reflect, and then Garchomp sets up behind it, and then just doesn't die. It's also carrying Attract, so maybe Tapu Fini finds support sweep. I don't know, Fini. Like it's so weird when you see such a crazy Garchomp like that, but then also not acknowledging it for like the most damage possible. Let's go and check out some more battles. I don't know, there was just something strange about Tapu Fini being like the more damaged part of that team after Garchomp took so long to set up. Let's see what happens in this battle and get a better idea of what's going on, as, yeah, it's just going to be pretty much same setup. So maybe Klefki won't get immediately blown up by a Heat Wave or something ridiculous like that, and the opponent is going to have the Primarina and Dragonite. So Nihilego Klefki will be pretty solid, and now it's like, gender check. All right, we have a Dragonite. We have both males. All right, patriarchy in action as Klefki sets up the Reflect. Or, no, that was Light Screen. And then that's going to be the Sandstorm from the Nihilego. There we go. So, I guess going to try to keep the Nihilego safer in this situation, as Klefki eats a Flamethrower from the Dragonite, and Primarina goes for the Hydro Pump, but Nihilego will avoid it. So, that's pretty solid, and Dragonite will take a little bit from Sandstorm. So there goes the multi-scale, and now Primarina's taking some damage as well. Also, I noticed the blurry text glitch again. It feels like whenever you use Light Screen Reflect or the Aurora Veil, it makes the text blurry, which is just kind of strange. So it strikes again. I didn't notice it with Light Screen Reflect. I thought it was just Aurora Veil. So now Nihilego even has Thunder Wave. So you just really... This is actually kind of strange. You're putting Garchomp in like the best position to succeed, but also at the same time, something needs to faint. So when you're making it to where you're like bulking up under that Prankster, it's going to be tough for the Klefki to go down, but it looks like the opponent wants Nihilego dead, and that is actually going to be the Z move for Primarina. And okay, actually now we get to tell some story time, because we get to sit here for a bit and watch this animation play out. Every time Primarina goes for it, people say, oh, why don't you get copyright claimed or anything like that? Well, that's because I have a managed channel. That because I'm with the Freedom Network, and I'm managed channel, and I'm pretty large channel like that, I don't get the automatic copyright claims. That's what it is. It's the automatic system that kind of matches it with an existing Pokemon YouTube video, and that's what busts people on it. But outside of that, I'm pretty fine. And Nihilego onto the Sandstorm, so much special defense with that Light Screen that even the Oceanic Operetta super effective hit from the Primarina is not enough to KO. That's actually pretty insane, and also a case for mad special defense. Just Nihilego, it survives and tanks ridiculously. So that's going to be Reflect and Light Screen, and something tells me it's probably Light Clay on that, as we have Smooth Rock on the Nihilego, and we're even in the position for double Stealth Rock. So full setup, full styling on the opponent right now, and Dragonite finally takes down the Klefki. But that's kind of what we want, as Garchomp now has pretty much invincibility as it gets a chance to set up against two male Pokemon that are also paralyzed. The opponent is having a very bad start right now, while also, like, I don't get it. That if you start slower against this team, you kind of stall out turns of Light Screen and Sandstorm, but then it means you're not really gaining any momentum. I don't know, it's strange. This whole thing's strange. That's going to be Garchomp. So Garchomp going straight into that double team. And with all the paralysis, it's going to be the fastest thing on the field. So it has setup. It's getting to do what it wants to do. Garchomp avoids Sludge Wave like clockwork, as we see right there. And then Primarina taking big damage from the Sludge Wave. Dragonite just taking a little bit. And that's just damage. My goodness. Okay, so Garchomp will tank right there. And then we're going to see Dragonite taking a little bit from the Sandstorm. And then Leftover's going to heal it up. And then Primarina's going to go down to Sandstorm next turn. So you can kind of ignore the Primarina, maybe focus them down on the Dragonite. We've already seen the Nihilego moveset. So yeah, Garchomp's just going to attract. Alright, attract Dragonite, Primarina goes down, keep going for the double teams, and that's how you get the shutdown going. So Nihilego Thunder Waving, just in case switch, maybe? I don't know, Nihilego doesn't have anything else to do. It's just sitting there like, it's done. It doesn't have anything else to do. So Hydro Pump will connect on Nihilego. That'll be enough to take it down. But at the same time, it's just support. It was meant to go down at some point. And then we're going to see Primarina go away as Tapu Fini comes in with that Misty Terrain. Ooh, actually no, Primarina probably survived at like 1 hit points. That was close to call. It looked like it was going to go down to the Sandstorm, but it does not. And Light Screen wears off, but Tapu Fini is in. And Primarina doesn't really threaten the Tapu Fini too much. Maybe a Moonblast on the Garchomp could be kind of scary, but overall it's not the worst that could happen. And Garchomp attracts. So yeah, just outspeed, attract, make sure your turn is completely safe. As we see Tapu Fini with the heal pulse onto Garchomp. Man, the Thunder Wave just really helps. Like, Tapu Fini being faster than both opponents, very useful. As Dragonite goes for the Thunder Punch on Tapu Fini. Solid hit, but not enough to be super threatening. And that is going to be Primarina in love with Garchomp, but it's immobilized by love. And that will be it going down to the Sandstorm. Tapu Fini taking a little bit from Sandstorm as well. And now Garchomp is in a good state of health. Also has double team. Like, when you get the +1 double team on top of the Sand Veil, you're already dodging a pretty substantial amount of moves. So it's a pretty solid start. And Garchomp. So another Garchomp versus Garchomp, and guess what? It's a male. So that's going to be free attract right there. As we see Garchomp with a double team. Maybe it's not hit point investment. I was like thinking it looked a little tankier from that last battle, but to outspeed or at least speed tie the Garchomp, that's going to be just standard Garchomp with speed and damage, I guess. It seemed like a little too much with the setup, but hey, who knows? So now track double team, flamethrower, shenanigans. Works out, and that's going to be not very effective on to the Dragonite, but Dragonite is in love, immobilized, Tapu Fini buffeted by Sandstorm, and the Brick Break really didn't get to do too much overall, because the setup happened, all is good. I'm just kind of like worried about this Garchomp, like how it's going to take things down. I want to see some big damage come through, except Garchomp's going to attract, wait, okay, yeah, I was about to say that was an attract, but then it missed, and things happened. But there's the Moonblast. So at least Tapu Fini having a way of taking out the Dragonite finally, as that's going to be Sandstorm subsiding. And an Arcanine on the field. So yeah, Intimidate going to be problematic. The opponent also having a majority shiny team, so just pointing that out. As Intimidate comes through, lands on the Garchomp, and Tapu Fini just has some work to do right now. So Garchomp with the attract. That is going to... Oh wait, yeah. The Sand Veil for the opposing Garchomp. Wait, no. Like, Garchomp should have rough skin. What's going on? As Garchomp throws down the Dragon Rush. So Dragon Rush onto Garchomp will be tanked up. And Arcanine goes for the Thunder Fang. Super effective damage on Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini will barely survive. And has the Moonblast for the Garchomp. Solid. Alright, so that actually puts it in a really good position for our Garchomp to just come in and get the damage that it needs to. There's the Earthquake. So Earthquake going to sacrifice off Tapu Fini, going to go for the solid damage on a Garchomp, and will take out the Arcanine. So yeah, that's just an interesting offensive Garchomp that has double team and attract while being female under the Sandstorm. And then it does Garchomp things while being hard to hit because of evasion. Interesting battles, but ended up playing out just fine. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the battle, and I'll see you guys in the next Fan Fridays.